These villagers were meeting to finalise the construction designs which they themselves took part in drawing up before the actual construction started. They belong to the group of rented house tenants in Ban Nam Kem village, Phang province, one of the worst affected communities in the tsunami that devastated the southern coast of Thailand. They were not entitled to any assistance in rebuilding efforts, as they own no land, as tenants paying rental fees for decades.
From our consultations, numerous problems were found. Some faced housing problems. We were therefore consulted authorities, asking them about our housing rights. We were told that as tenants with no land rights, we could not be considered residents and were not entitled to any assistance.
They therefore got organised by taking up a joint survey of homeless people, setting up small saving groups and joining with other groups in Ban Nam Kem. These soon developed into Ban Nam Kem Patana housing cooperatives to undertake the construction of the people's homes at their own efforts. Several organisations came to its help with the purchase of land and the construction. The project on the people's new habitat soon came about as the second housing project of Ban Nam Kem following the success of the first project. The Ban Nam Kem Patana Housing Cooperatives is one of several savings groups that emerged in Ban Nam Kem, presently regarded as one of the most effective and successful villages for livelihood recovery among the tsunami-affected communities. They came together, jointly deciding their own fate and turning from receivers of aid to project owners for the whole community.
The most challenging process was the way communities were able to be combined, the way it allowed people to create an organization. People wandered, ran for their lives. Those individuals had spread all over around the area. However, the important challenge of this story was the way communities are able to come together as a whole and created power of an organization, daring to think, to act, and to do things together.
All the achievements were made through a few core members who were put up in the relief centre at Bang Mueang district, Phang province, after the tsunami struck. Their management concept started there.
As we stayed there, more people arrived. With the increase in population, there had to be a management system. So we started from the setting up of tents, keeping them in orderly rows according to the layout. Each row comprised of 10 tents with one chief in charge.
In the chaotic condition of the relief centre, which accommodated affected peoples from various different areas, they tried to gather villagers of Ban Nam Kem in one place.
As the population increased, the management came in from the start. We were automatically trained in labour division. Each row appointed one person as the security guard for the evening hours. There must be one person in charge of cooking and another to receive donations, keeping inventory. After some time, there was a meeting to exchange views. We held a plenary meeting attended by about 3,000 people at the time.
Presently, there are scores of professional groups in Ban Nam Kem community. These groups branched out from craft works to spiritual revival at the initial stage. Each group started from saving, arranging revolving fund within the group, earning income at the same time. At Bang Mueang Relief Centre, individuals and agencies came in to donate cash and kind for tsunami victims in a great number. But the core members of Ban Nam Kem looked at the situation in a different light.
About 20 core members discussed the situation. With donations flowing in each day, some might just use it up the next day, squandering on food and drinks and entertainment because of their stress. We also viewed the receivers of cash donations as degrading human value. They only sit and wait, doing nothing for their lives. When someone gets more, conflicts also erupt. The method has to be improved, so we sought consultation with donors.
The core members organised themselves as a negotiating group in the talks with donors. They suggested the setting up of a fund for career development, providing loans to villagers, and a revolving fund for community use on a sustainable basis. Their concept was favourably responded by several donors. Thus, the community recovery plan started. Villagers who wanted to use the fund to support their work had to propose a project and start a savings group. The fund would then be allocated accordingly.
We started from 1 or 2 groups to a score of them, receiving 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 baht in support. When some groups earned incomes from their production, they put the money with the savings group. So we thought that a systematic financial management and standardized accounting system would be needed.
The revolving fund evolved into a community bank, managed by community members themselves, with cash flow in the accounting system amounting to over 70 million baht. Soon, the bank became stable and started to offer welfare to members. The Ban Nam Kem Community Bank now registers more than 1,300 members, almost half of the people of Ban Nam Kem at present. Although Ban Nam Kem community suffered the worst losses in the tsunami that hit Thailand, residents gained unprecedented strength through unity and care for one another.
Catastrophe. In one perspective, it is a big problem, but in another, it is an opportunity, a great opportunity to solve problems, to rebuild. If we look at the latter one, we will have systematic solutions to the problems, not merely dispersible ones. We're but to use the catastrophe as an opportunity to create new good things together.
We use saving as the tool to gather people and add knowledge and wisdom through training and seminars, making people aware that they could no longer live separately as in the past. We have to pull together to develop our community. We regard the disaster as the worst crisis and we have lost everything. So everyone is reborn and has the new chance to develop this place together.
Saving is further used as the initial tool to group people together in several other villages for career and community development. At the Morklin community of Ban Hin Luk Diao in Phuket, each month end, Churi collect money from villagers as group saving for job creation and community development.
The saving group was a condition for organizing the people. Money was one part of it. If the community could manage its own financial affairs, borrowing and lending within the community, members would be freed from external debts. This was one important factor. But for the saving group, the main aim was the organization, organizing ideas and bringing members together to jointly carry out other tasks.
From the modest start with a small sum of 20 baht a month contributed by the impoverished, emerged a grand institution that brought pride to the community and provided security to villagers' lives. Their saving group has enough fund to start development career and community on a sustainable basis. The Moklins of Ban Hin Luk Diao are developing and improving the environment of the village in accordance with their ideas and requirements. They jointly designed walkways linking each and every house, which represented the intimate link and unity in the community. The Support for Rehabilitation Communities project aimed for sustainability through people's initiation, planning and action, spread into several affected areas. The Muslim community on Muk Island, consisting of 6 Bays villages, Trang Province, have jointly developed a housing construction plan for their communities. They divided labour among themselves, planning, drawing up designs of their dream homes and building them with their own hands. But not all communities got such housing assistance. The Morkins of Surin Island were not entitled to the assistance. The consultation process was limited. Previously, the Morkins on Surin Island lived on 2 separate beaches. Their houses were built to suit their lifestyle. But today, they were relocated to the same beach on one island. The water-based homes that reflected their traditional way of life were changed to the beach homes in the concept of helpers, without residents' participation in deciding their own fate. This was a critical lesson to endure.
If we were to build by our own, the house would be bigger. They built it for us, so it is too small. If we were to build by our own, we would have built floors with bamboos, like where we used to live.
Lessons, experiences, successes of various communities have been exchanged and related widely to other communities, not just the tsunami-affected communities, also extended to disaster-hit communities across the country.
Tsunami has given lessons and knowledge to the problem-solving and improvement field in Thailand in a remarkable level. Groups that support problem-solving of tsunami were developers, villagers, leaders, and nationwide network. Everyone learned the problem-solving process of tsunami as well. Not long after the incidents, there were flood problems in the south and north. Experiences and knowledge from working together in tsunami were used in other matters as well. For instance, villagers have to check themselves first, then use flexible circulating fund and sit together to brainstorm and find out solutions to the problems.
Presently, disaster-affected community in Thailand is forming a network around the world, when survivors from several countries in Asia took part in the regional workshop and networking event about the people's response to disasters, resilience, empowerment and right, held in Thailand in October 2006.
A lot of the survivors are very frustrated and many people have given up hope. There's a lot of hopelessness. People are scattered all around the country. They're trying to come back home but not getting very much support.
Disaster victims from 14 countries utilized the forum to exchange views, to learn lessons and experiences from one another on obstacles, problems and successes in livelihood and community recovery through their own efforts.
So the people only should address and now start rebuilding their life, so it should be long-term and sustainable.
They have demonstrated the strength of the community, the power of unity and friendship, which cannot be bought by wealth. Although the tsunami made no distinction between different levels of society or between man and nature in its destructive path, it made a difference with the rethinking on how we respond to disasters, be they tsunami, earthquake, flooding or landslide that presently attack our world. Most importantly, the response does not just mean how best we can get prepared for disasters, but how the best recovery can be planned and implemented for disaster-affected communities.
Modern development must be based on citizens to see how to solve problems so that they could stand on their own feet and could manage their own lives strongly and systematically. If we focus on the citizens, bureaucratic system of government sectors might be more understanding and might invent methods that support communities and people so that they could stand on their own feet.